Bam!
Night turn to day turn to night. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide. Night turn to day turn to night. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide.
Never let another soul tell you you can't. When you feel it in your chest, making money in the bank. Never base your progress off what the next man think. Cause misery love company, they want your ship to sink. One thing about succeeding, you leave some folk behind. Cause either they're underachieving or don't understand your mind. Stay focused on what you believe in. Then give yourself some time. It might take a couple seasons, but I promise you'll be fine. My homie PK always told me, go hard, it helps you rest. You can always sleep better when you know you gave your best. It comes a time in every life when it's action over word, and based on what you've done tonight, you gon' get what you deserve. I challenge everyone to move, cause you don't wanna be old, feeling like you never tried to attain your goals. I am the working class hero, simply cause I won't fold. So many Jews on this, you can call it pot of gold.
Night turn to day turn to night. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide. Night turn to day turn to night. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Move away, slide. What you gon' do, baby? Make a move away, slide.
I'm standing here today with a new, soon-to-be dear friend of mine, and looking forward to partner with the elder here and his beautiful wife and their beautiful family. We're here for several reasons today. I just want you all to help me to welcome Elder Danny Allen. And I'm clapping for you behind the camera. So tell us your name and we're gonna talk a little while.
Very good. Yes. Well, my name is Danny Allen, Danny Ray Allen actually. I am ordained a elder within the Church of God in Christ. Have pastored both in Germany, the city of Nuremberg, in Italy, the city of Naples, and the small town of Ischatella, and in Bremerton, Washington. Now here, of course, in Georgia, and loving wife, 5
and beautiful wife.
Yeah, she is my heart.
Oh.
You can go to our website at www.dannyallen.net. And there you can see a picture of that beautiful lady who keeps me going.
Amen.
5 beautiful daughters and 11 grandchildren. So we're blessed to have a wonderful family. The work that God has given me to do is non-glamorous. It has to do with the rescuing of the downtrodden, and particularly those who have fallen through the cracks within the criminal justice and the juvenile justice systems, and there to really provide some much needed things, if you will, of life, especially those who are in prison, those who are just coming out of prison, our kids who are having problems with the juvenile justice system. That is the aim. There are responsibilities given to various offices within the church, but it does not change the responsibility of the pastor to be a conduit between the people and God on a consistent basis.
Right.
Now, we're in trouble. Yeah, we're in trouble. We need God's help. We really do. We're in trouble because we have effectively changed our duty and our responsibility as far as what the church should be doing.
Wow.
Matthew chapter 25, this is where I'm coming from. Matthew chapter 25 provides what the church is to really be about. Jesus talked about the separation of the sheep and the goat.
That's right. He sure did.
And he said that he separated them, and he gave 2 different scenarios as to what the sheep would look like and what the goat would look like. And of the sheep, he spoke of feeding, clothing, providing shelter,
Exactly.
and visiting. Here we go, saints of God, those who are viewing, visiting those who are sick
Or
and
in prison.
in prison.
That's right. I knew that's what you were
Okay.
going to say, because you're right.
So
That's the word.
So we know, please hear me, we know that everyone cannot go into the prison system. That is a ministry within itself. But we can get out of the frame of mind, this out of sight, out of mind thing.
Right.
And we can begin in our churches to support prison ministry.
That's right.
All right, to support it, even if we gave $1 every time we gave our offering,
I heard
or
that.
every time we paid our tithe, and then the pastor take those resources and ensure that either they flow into the ministry that is within that church strictly for
Prison ministry. Right. That particular outreach.
Now let me just address that for a minute too, because I'm not just talking about going into the prison on a Wednesday or a Friday or a Sunday and spending 30 minutes to an hour preaching, singing, and then leaving.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm talking about service. I'm talking about that church providing congregants or members of the congregation joining a pen pal group that
I saw
writes
that on your
in-
site, communicating
which
provides ministry right there.
exactly one of the most important times of an inmate is getting a letter
Wow.
and getting his commissary or canteen. Even a bag of potato chips carries a great weight when it comes to something as simple. And some of these guys and girls don't even have the resources because the families have cut them off. They've done so many dastardly things to the family, but you still can't throw them away.
Right, because Jesus doesn't
No.
throw us away.
You can't do that. You can't just forget them, you know. So
Wow.
they need $10, $15 a month. Now, the numbers are astronomical, my dear. We're now at about 2.3 million men and women who are incarcerated within prisons within the United States.
And you provided a link on your site that was actually talking about the expansion.
Right.
So that means that people are out there planning for more and more people to be prisoners, therefore having to have an expansion unit to include these more and more prisoners that they're probably projecting when they sit at the round table or whatever.
Let's talk
I
about
thought
that.
that was terrible.
Let's look at that. A prison was just built in this area, costing $300 million. Here is what we have uncovered in our research, that prisons today, future prisons, are determined by the children who are in the 3rd and the 4th grades, who, when you and I were going to school, and many of you all, I'm what they call double nickel. I'm at 55 now. I'm not talking
That's
about
cool.
it.
Double nickel?
Yeah,
I love
double
it.
nickel. So when we were going to school, if we got into a skirmish or something at school, we may have gotten a paddling.
Oh, I'm right behind you. I'm 42, and the principal can swat you. That teacher can swat you
Yeah.
right in class.
So that's what would happen.
Yes.
But today,
And I've gotten swats. Right.
yes, ma'am. I got the marks.
That
to tell you.
paddle. Kids today don't even know what a paddle is.
But today, a police officer has to be called if there is a fight, or if there is something that goes wrong in the school. Matter of
You were
fact,
scared to get into a
oftentimes-
fight at school.
Right. So, and maybe there are police officers in the schools now, and I'm sure that
You're
there are.
absolutely right.
So what happens?
Two
is-
resource officers usually in each school.
So a record now is given. So from that record, the system it enables the system to use those statistics to determine that when this 3rd or 4th grader reaches this age, especially
is
if he or she comes
terrible.
from a dysfunctional family,
Right.
this is what's going to be needed in order to house him or her. And the dropout rate. Those are the statistical numbers that are used to determine how many prisons are going to be used. Now, this may be a bit ominous, or maybe it's not as scientific as you'd like for it to be, but just check it out. Go to the juvenile detention centers and see who is there and interview. Find out, when did your troubles begin? When did you start to get in trouble? And the internet has made it easy today because you can almost go online and find out all of that information now. Okay?
That's right.
So now the church has a duty to change its understanding. Yes, we might need to build more buildings. Well, amen. But if a person comes to us and they need a care package, we ought to be sensitive enough to give them $20 rather than to say, well, this money is going specifically for this. This is the building fund. Well, amen for the building fund, but what happened to the person? Build a building, but what happened to what's going on with the people?
Jesus said, if we don't comfort those in prison, we didn't comfort him.
This is what he said.
That's scripture. I read that for myself.
So it is that this is where we have to really take a better look. That's why I say it's not glamorous, because you know, my colleagues are saying, Danny, what's wrong with you? You know, well, I'm saying, it ain't me, it's the word. What does the word say?
Exactly.
Jesus is on his way back.
All the prisons need to have this, because it's just what you said. If y'all, anybody ever watch Shawshank Redemption? And the main thing that caught me was that there was no hope. The men had lost hope, so therefore it almost like was no need to be human, because there was no hope.
See, we want to invest in them while they're already in prison. We want to work
Absolutely,
through the chaplains.
absolutely.
We want to go ahead and say, hey, this is what's going on. We want to sow money on the books for them.
Yeah, wow.
To make sure they're preparing
Wow.
themselves, to make sure they're not just a care package.
Right.
But it's going to be on a whole nother level, because of the simple fact, we will go out here and spend $200 on our head, but we won't put $200 in our head.
Thank you.
We want to make sure they get the right books,
Thank
the
you.
right tools,
Thank you.
the right things that they would allow in there for them to educate themselves.
That's right.
Now let me just hit you all with another one, and this one frightens people. Let me give you a
Hit us.
quick story. I moved into a neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood, and my neighbor, a young lady, lived across the street from us. She came over to greet us, to greet me. I was actually moving some stuff around. She introduced herself, and we began to talk. And we were standing probably, maybe 2-3 feet away from each other as we were talking. As I spoke to her about prison ministry, I got into the area that I'm about to touch now, and that is that area of sex offenders. When I said I ministered to sex offenders, she folded her arms and stepped back about 3 or 4 feet.
Wow.
Okay? It frightened her.
So now all of a sudden you're a pervert.
There you go. Well, it frightened, whatever she thought, it shook her, because the community doesn't know what to do with sex offenders.
Right.
And the church,
They don't even want them moving in.
That's right.
And it's registered on public record.
That's right. And the church don't. But listen, beloved. You remember Joseph? Remember Jacob's next to the last son? You remember that in Potiphar's house, Potiphar's wife accused him of taking advantage of him.
That's right. Sure
And
did.
when Potiphar
He had to
came
run out of
home,
his coat.
He ran out of his coat. Potiphar came home, whether he believed his wife or not, he had to support her. So he put Joseph in jail.
Sure did.
Joseph spent some 2+ years in prison.
Sure did.
Now, guess what, beloved? Fast forward. If Joseph lived in the 21st century,
Wow.
he'd have to register as a sex offender.
For public knowledge.
That's right.
Wow.
So there are individuals. Yes, I have problems with perverts. Absolutely, I have problems with.
And you're not justifying it at all.
Right.
The behavior.
Yeah.
But that's still a person with a soul.
God help us. I know you don't like it, but that's a soul.
I'm with you,
now,
sir.
the thing about it is, we cannot throw souls
Away.
away.
We dealing with God, someone who sees 100,000 murders at one time.
Wow.
And so he still have not counted people out.
Right.
So what do we do? You know, when we have a situation, and these are some of the answers that you can get by going to the website, by calling me, if you will, by inviting me. You can reach me at 678-559-8519. That comes directly to me.
Good.
I will
say that number for us again.
It's 678-559-8519.
Right.
And that comes directly to me. I will come to your organization. I will come to your church. I'm a 30-year pastor. I came out of the pulpit in 2005.
Into the streets.
Back into the street and into the prison system.
Yes, yes.
To see. Check my website. Go to the About Us page and scroll down to the very bottom of it. You will see that I did legal work.
I saw that.
Inside the prison system.
Yes, I saw that. Yes,
Okay?
I saw that.
And you'll see criminal procedures, family court, civil court. You'll see that. Now, if you want the story,
And you had to handle all those records and make sure they were accurate.
2,000 people. The story of that is coming out in a book that I'm editing right now.
Wow. What's the name of your book, sir?
The wonderful, wonderful question. The name of the book is 1 1/2 inch mattress with 3 feet of privacy.
Wow. 1 1/2 inch of mattress with 3 feet of privacy.
That's the name of the book.
Okay, you know you're going to have to tell us about that title, because that's already hitting. I could feel the punch. Y'all hear the punch behind the camera? Y'all hear the punch?
The mattresses that the men and women sleep
on.
Is 1 1/2 inch on a steel frame, and between their bunk, which is often a double bunk if it's an open area, between their bunk and the next bunk is 3 feet. So you have 1 1/2 inch mattress with 3 feet of privacy.
I'm already shaking my head behind the camera. I'm already shaking my head.
So that's the name of the book. That's going to give you what you're seeing on the website at the About Us page, which is very interesting. That gives you a complete outline. But what I was saying earlier is, it is time for us to take a second look and to open our hearts and our minds to a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance. What did Jesus tell Peter? If your brother offends you 7 times in a day,
70 times 7.
He said, forgive him.
Each time.
Forgive him. Okay, and you can take a look at the scripture. It'll lay it out.
It's in there.
I'm not saying anything that's foreign.
Because we forget how many times God forgives us
That's right.
for sins of omission and commission.
And if society and individuals in society were really convicted of the crimes and or sins that they have committed, there would be no room in prisons.
Right.
Because there are more who didn't get caught than those who did. And there are many, honestly, beloved, there are many who didn't do what it was that they were convicted of doing.
Gotcha.
But they did something else.
Right.
And they didn't get caught for doing whatever else that they did. But they were in the vicinity, and their mode of operation, their MO fit. And they were convicted of the crime that they didn't commit, and they're doing time for it.
Wow.
I have men in Texas prisons that have been there for 30 years. I have men in California prisons who've been there for 23 years. I meet men and women almost every day that spent 10 years in, 15 years in. I go out into the street. I set me up a little table in front of the food stores, and I have about a 3-foot trifold display, and I put the information on it as to what we're trying to do and accomplish. And as the people come out, I got a little bucket that they make donations to. The largest amount of donations in a 4-hour time period has been about $60. Well, I tell God thank you, because what the need there is to take that and to use it so that it benefits someone else. So I'm appealing to you viewers. I'm saying to you, we really do need your help, but we refuse to fleece the people. We refuse to browbeat them.
Which happens so much in our churches, happens so much.
I refuse to beg you. I'm saying, yes, I beseech you.
Right.
You understand? But what I'm saying,
communicating a sense of urgency about this matter.
We need your help now, because the recidivism rate, that word recidivism means the return. When an individual lives in a particular community, they hang with a certain group, they break the law, they get they get convicted of a particular crime, they go to prison, they spend X number of years in prison, they get out of prison and come right back to that same community and same group. There's an 80 to 90% chance that they're going to reoffend. So then Georgia's recidivism rate stands somewhere in the area of between about 60-65% of individuals getting out go back in within a 3-year period. Now that's not scientific, but what is scientific is that what the Bureau of Prisons tells us, that 51.8% of all individuals getting out of prison nationally go back into the system within 3 years of their release, either for a new crime or for the breaking of their parole.
I read that on your site,
or drugs. Drugs is the biggie now. Crimes against society, crimes against the science of economics. Our prisons, and they're getting,
because it's quicker money than waiting for someone to hire you that have already determined within their spirit.
I'm still faced with the job of taking care of my family that I've made over this time.
Right.
But with
so now you're about to be 29.
Not as many options. Yeah, birthday coming up.
That's right, November 6th.
November 6th,
that's what's up.
3 weeks out.
That's what's up.
If you ever see this and you want to give me a belated gift.
That's right. I got a post office box you all should know by now.
But seriously, like it's an epidemic. I know hundreds of brothers who went to prison, did whatever came about from their felony charge, who have put the life behind them to be more legitimate.
Gotcha.
And are absolutely losing their mind with frustration for how hard it is. They call prison and jail and different things probation. They disguise it as rehabilitation.
Disguise is a good word.
But it's never rehab. Rehab means just that. Like, I was in a place, I'm trying to get back to it.
Right. Like if you hurt your leg playing ball, once you go through rehabilitation, your leg is good again, and you back out on the court, back on the field. Exactly.
But that is not what it is.
The case,
like,
got you.
It follows you throughout. It follows you throughout, and
I think it's so unfair too.
It's absolutely unfair because they disguise it in your court system. When you go to court and in the paperwork, and if you talk to any legislative personnel, from a judge to anybody, officer of the court, any lawyer, prosecutor, they will all tell you rehabilitation. You ever heard of paying your debt to society?
Right.
All of that. That's what they tell you. But upon payment, they forget to tell you that you're going to keep paying.
Forever and a day.
And
almost like a credit card balance. If you're only paying minimum balance, it'll last forever.
Exactly.
And it keeps adding. Yeah. Because now you're closer to 30 than 16, I think, when all this started for you, and society has acted like it has not mattered.
Right, and despite facts that I put, I'm one of those people, I live off of facts.
Right.
Fact is, I sold dope. I got in trouble for it. Fact is, I've stopped. I have jobs. like I say, pieces of jobs that I either have to take a seasonal position, I have to take pay that can't even sustain me, let alone 4 kids that I have and my woman.
Exactly.
Or my household.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, since 2002 to it's 09 now.
Thank you. 7 years later.
If I was back into life, we wouldn't even be standing here in front of this camera.
You're right.
Because I'd be too busy going to get that money.
Exactly. And can get the money.
But the thing is, it's not even appealing to me anymore, because there are trappings within even selling dope that were designed, and you don't really get it. You don't really get to understanding it until you get into higher levels of the game.
Right. And then you and I, as taxpayers, you're spending $25,000 to $50,000 a year to house individuals in jails,
Absolutely.
county jails, state prisons, and federal prisons.
Out of the school dollars, I think 50 cents of every dollar that we think we're contributing to the school or the overall educational system, 50 cents of that dollar goes to the prisons.
And what happens in prison? No longer is there an attempt really to rehabilitate.
Right.
There is.
It's a politically correct word that's used, but
Right.
that's not what's happening.
What is happening is warehousing.
Yeah.
That's why we're
Storage.
paying more. Now,
Yeah.
there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So this is the same system that has been used in times past.
Right.
There was a warehousing system where you were required to read the Bible every day. That was a part of your sentence. Then it moved, of course, into a type of rehabilitation where colleges and universities had programs going on in prisons, and it was helping the guys to some extent, guys and girls, if you will. And then back to the warehousing system. And again, that's not scientific.
Gotcha.
Again,
But it's a reality all the same.
It's a reality as to where we are and actually what's taking place.
First of all, what started when I was in prison, what really discouraged me, I was a part of a heating and air conditioning class, trying to better myself. I had obtained my GED, and that was in 1994.
Okay.
The courses and the classes and trades and college classes, all of that was taken away from the prison system, simply because they said citizens in society were complaining that they had to pay for their kids to go to college in society, but an inmate, he could commit a crime and could get a free college. He could get free schooling and learn trades. So those classes were taken away from the prison.
That's so ugly. I can't think of another word. I'm sorry. That's ugly. Okay, go ahead. I'm tripping off of that. That's ugly.
That was needed for us to better ourselves.
Absolutely.
Back into society.
Absolutely. You know what, sir? It sounded like they weren't looking for y'all to be back into society, let alone to be productive.
Exactly.
That's how I'm taking that. Jesus.
Set up to fail.
Set up to fail. There you go.
Night turn to day turn to night, what you gon' do,